Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. It is Monday, April 19th. So I'm going to give a minute or so for anybody who's here today to pop on and see what we're going to do. Okay, I don't see anybody yet. It's just been a few seconds, not even a minute. So I will get started in about 1 minute. Okay, now I've got somebody. Hi, Carol. Thanks for popping on. You'll like this one today, I'm sure. Okay. Well, it's, as I said before, it is Monday, April 19th, and I guess I'm not sure where anybody else is from who has maybe not left a comment, but we're going to have some snow this week. That's what we do in Ohio. We're going to have some snow. Hey, Gloria, good to see you. Hi, Fran. Okay, we have 2 more weeks before the new catalog goes live. And I've shown that before, so let's see. This is what that pretty little cover is. So if you need a catalog, please let me know. So right now we are still out of this one. And actually the next week I will also show some retiring products. And on May 3rd, that'll be the last day that this one will be available. But let me get that back again. This is what I'm going to show you today. This is one of my favorite sets ever. And it's not going to be leaving my stash, at least for a while. And that is Good Morning Magnolia. This set is absolutely gorgeous. It is so many things in it. It has 2 boxes. And I'm going to feature this beautiful Magnolia stamp today. And there is a die set to go with it. Now, the stamp set is not discounted. However, the Magnolia Memory die set has 16 dies. The largest is this one that I'm going to show you today. It is discounted 75% at $8.75. I think that is a fabulous deal. Probably has some things in here that could be used with other projects, and I'll show you some things with some of these. Let me zoom in a little bit if you don't have a catalog handy. Like this little border here, some leaves, so on. It's just, I can't imagine a die set for $8.75. So anyway, that's that. And then there is also a 3D embossing folder to go with this. We'll zoom back out again. And this is not retiring. I don't actually know why, because other than maybe making some home decor items with this, which I will show you what I've done, that I've got a special piece that is in my living room all the time, and I brought it downstairs today, that I made a few years ago, and I just love it. So this is not retiring, and it will still be available. So we've got Stamp and Cut and Emboss, we've got the Magnolia Memory. That's what the name of this die set is. Good Morning Magnolia is the name of the stamp set. So let's get started, because I have lots to show you. And I'm going to start with, let me zoom out again a little bit, with a piece of basic black that I've cut at 11 by 4 1/4. And grab a bone folder to score that. It's already scored. I just gave it a good crease there. And let me get my other pieces out here. I'm going to put a piece of designer paper. This is the Oh So Good. It's in the January to June mini catalog. Let's see what that is called. I get the name of it. True Love. Excuse me. I wasn't even close. The True Love designer paper. And it's got all of these pretty little flowers on one side. And then the other side is all just some kind of design. But I like the black and white effect there. So that's going to go on here. And that is 3.5 by 5.5. So just a little bit sticking out on the sides. So let's add some adhesive to that. Okay, I don't know if you were on here when I said we're due for some snow on Wednesday. And you all are in the area, so what do you think about that? It's typical Ohio. Last year, I know we had snow probably around the 11th or 12th or 13th, because that's when my daughter and son-in-law were here taking care of me. Okay, I cut this just a tad bit longer. I would rather have my paper a little bit longer than too short. So I just trimmed that off of the bottom. So we'll put that aside. And get ready to stamp. And I'm going to use the Stamparatus again because this large stamp is almost as large as one of the large background stamps. I want to make sure that it's going to stamp exactly where I want it to go. And I'm going to stamp today on vellum. Vellum is a thinner, transparent type of cardstock, and it is, we call it a cardstock vellum. And this is what it looks like. So you can see through it, but it's thicker. It's not like vellum that you might have thought a long time ago when airmail, very thin type of paper. This is a little bit thicker. Remember when we had to have things by weight with airmail? Now everything's airmail, I guess. All right, I have already put this down on the paper here, so I knew exactly where this was going to go. And the ink that I'm going to use is StazOn. And StazOn is a solvent ink pad that is good for non-porous paper. And this is going to take a little bit of time to dry. So I will go ahead and stamp this, but I do have things already ready to go because it takes a while to dry and I didn't want to use the heat gun for it. So I've got something under my Stamparatus plate to give me some stability there. Just stamp that. And this is good if you're stamping on a window sheet. And it also, you can do it with regular paper and it gives you a good crisp image. What you don't want to stamp it with is using our Stampin' Blends that I'm going to use today. And then I'll tell you why I'm using this with the Stampin' Blends. Okay, let me make sure I got a good crisp image there, and that looks gorgeous. A little bit up here on the tip. There we go. So I'm going to pull that off, and I know that that's going to dry eventually, but I do have one already ready to go. Another thing about the StazOn, it will stain your stamps. It will still clean, although we do have a StazOn ink cleaner. So when I take this off, it's going to get the ink off, but it will stain the stamp. And in my thinking, as long as you know the ink is off and you're going to stamp something else with it, it's going to be okay. So we know that that's clean now. So let's set this aside. I know some people really like to have their stamps look like brand new when they're done stamping with it, but as long as I know the ink's off, I know it's okay, and I know that my stamp is being loved, I guess. All right, so with that, let's go back to my pieces parts here. And I have already let this dry, and I've cut it out with the large die. So I've taken it to my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and I've cut this out. And I've also cut out just a white piece on basic white, because this is going to go behind that. So that part's already done, and I know that this is dry. So now let's get some coloring going on here, because that's what this is going to look like. All right, so let's color. And there are several ways that you can color this, and I'm going to try something just real quick and simple today, and go from behind, and it will show through. That's where I want my color to be. I'm going to go from behind, and I'm going to use our blending brushes in green and orange, and I looked, and these are still not able to be ordered, and I thought they were actually going to be available starting today and go off of that can't be ordered list, but now it's moved to the 26th. And what has happened is that shipping delay through the Suez Canal and just some global shipping issues have really put behind some things on our orders. So they're still not available. Okay, so I have turned this over, and I'll zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. Make sure you can see what I'm doing. And here's where using some old, going to be retired, with some new sneak peeks. These are two of the new in colors. And this is Soft Succulent and Pale Papaya. And I think that Magnolias, somebody can maybe correct me a little bit. Magnolias are basically white, but have a little tinge of color, maybe in the center. On the sample that I'll show you in a minute when I get this one done, I used Blushing Bride. So for this, I decided to use a little bit of this Pale Papaya. So it's a very pale orangey color. And I'm going to tap that off to get some of the ink off, and then just kind of swirl around in the center. Do that a couple times, because I don't want this to be very dark and dramatic. So you can see that color's being added from behind. Okay, and you just can keep building that up if you want to add a little bit more. So I think that will be good. And then I'm going to use Soft Succulent, which is a beautiful green. We've got a lot of good greens. And okay, these clean very well. So as long as no other ink is coming out of here, if I'd used another color of green, that it would be take the new color. So again, I'm going to tap it off and then just kind of swirl around these leaves. And there we got a big one. And there we go. It's almost done. And let's add a little bit more over here. There we go. So there's what it looks like, but it's going to pop when I put it on the white. I'm going to take one of the blends in the soft succulent and add some color to the stem of this. Is that a stem? It looks more like a branch. I think these are kind of heavy-ish, whatever. All right, so there's that. Now see what it looks like when I put it on the white die cut. What do you think? It just really pops. Okay, so let's put this away and put those away. Now, vellum will show adhesive. So I'm just going to add some liquid glue, the green glue, because it's in a green bottle, and add just dots where there is some darker spots that won't show through, and just little dots. You don't want it to ooze out because it will show when it dries, assuming that ink glue is going to come out of here. Okay, and a little bit here, just enough in selected spots. And it's okay if the leaf lifts up a little bit. Okay, that's good enough. Might even be too much. Flip that over and add that to the white die cut. Line it up, and got a little bit of snip here that needs to come off where the vellum was a little bit shorter than the die cut. So we'll just snip that off. Okay, now I'm going to add that to the card with lots of Stampin' Dimensionals. And I don't know about you, but don't forget you can use all of these extras around the edge. I never let those go to waste. So I'm going to snip this off, and here's a nice long strip that I can add there. Can never have too many dimensionals to give your card a lot of stability, especially as it's going through the mail. So add this here. Want to make sure that the leaves are well protected. And let's see, it's another small piece. And that should do it. Okay. Just peel that backing off. There we go. And add this to the card. Oh, it's just striking. All right, so there's that. All we need to do now is add a sentiment and a little bit of bling. Get rid of my scraps. And I have cut some pieces of paper, there we go, that are 3.5, the same size as the black here, and 1. And there's a really nice sentiment in here that says, the journey of life is best shared with a friend. We'll get through this together. Well, it sounds like it might be something for a serious illness or some traumatic event, but I don't want it to say that. So I just want this to say, the journey of life is best shared with a friend. So you can do what is called masking. And I've already mounted the stamp on a block, but I don't want those bottom 2 lines to be on the card. So what you do is to take a sticky note, take a Post-it note, and let me zoom in so you can see exactly what I'm doing, and mask that off. Okay, so stamps wear masks too. Let me make sure I can get that under there. Okay, so I've masked that off. And then I'm going to take my ink pad and just stamp right on there. Rather than take the stamp to the ink pad, I'm taking the ink pad to the stamp. Pull that off, and now those bottom 2 lines are going to be omitted. Before I do that, and I don't think it will dry quick enough, this is another one of the stamps that's in the set. This little swirly, flourishy thing. I guess that's the best name for calling it. And I'm going to stamp that first. Because I want that to be the background of this, but I'm going to stamp it off and put that on my little piece of paper. Okay, so you just see that. Now, if this decided that it was going to dry too quick, we'll see if it does. I can huff on it with my breath, and that will help to reactivate the ink. I know you can't see what I'm doing, but maybe you can hear it. And then I can stamp on here. Keep in mind, those bottom 2 lines are not going to get stamped. So focus on the 2 lines that you want to stamp. That way I know this is going to fit on here. And there we go. The journey of life is best, there you can see it, shared with a friend. And that is done. And let me clean that stamp off. Use my chamois. Because no doubt I would get ink on my fingers, and guess where it would go. Okay, I'm going to also add a strip of the dimensional, and since I've got one of these long strips left on here, let's just add a whole strip of that. I could have made that a little bit bigger, actually. That's okay. That'll be good. Thanks, Carol. So I'm going to put that along the bottom. And there we go. So there's what the card looks like. And the bling for this, I think this is good with pearls, our basic pearls. And just put some little ones on here. Let's put one up here. I like to do things in odd numbers. I'm not sure the adhesive's there. And this is big enough that I can do 5 maybe. Okay, and you can see that this is in a triangle, and that's also visually appealing. So there's one here and here and here. So that's a good visual. And then let's put 2 down here where the sentiment is. So there's the card. Hey Nancy, you're late today. Thanks for being here. And now let's do something on the inside. I have a piece of basic white, and I've already stamped the little Magnolia bud from the stamp set and colored it with the blends. So that's here already. I'm going to put that on the inside and add some adhesive. I just love this stamp set. Love, love, love it. So that's ready to go. And let's not forget the envelope. So let's put a little spot on the envelope. And I'm going to let that dry for a little bit. It should probably dry pretty quick, but I'm going to let it make sure that it's dry and show you the other samples that I made with this set, along with the couple of 3D items, what I would call home decor. But these are some other samples that I did. A couple that I made quite a long time ago, but this one I made today to show you how that design works. That's part of the die set. And then I just sponged around, or not sponged, used the blending brush to go around the edge to give it a little bit of a shadow. And on this one I also used the pale papaya. This was the original design that I came up with that I used for today's sample, and this is where I used the Blushing Bride. Put that there. So the only difference with that is I put this up a little bit further, made a little bit difference. So there's that one. Here's one. I really like this. This is made with another retiring item. And these are the, get the right name, Forever Gold Laser Cut Specialty. And these are on sale, 20% off. These little gold things, and I've used quite a bit of these. These come on a 12 by 12 sheet, and I've just punched them out, and that way I know that I'll use them a little bit better because then they're in one of my little boxes here. They're white on one side and gold on the other, but who would want to cover up that beautiful gold? Love it. And then, so that's that one. I really like that. Enjoy today. Then here's one, very similar, but on this one is with, they're called Dandy Laser Cuts. These are in the January to June mini catalog, so these are still available, but I feel quite certain that they will also be retired when the dandelion designer paper and the things that are in there go away. So these are white and kind of an off-white look, like this, kind of an ecru look, I guess. It's not really crumb cake, but it's a little bit darker. So these are nice. I'm going to make some more with those and try to use those up. And I like that white on white. Okay, and then these are 2 cards that I pulled out of my retired stash when I was going through some cards yesterday that I'd made a long time ago. Thanks, Nancy. I love those gold laser cuts. They're so nice to work with. And here's one I stamped right on the cardstock. And I actually forget how I did this. Obviously, I made a mask to go around there to get that color in there. I'm here for you, friend. And then here's one with a spotlight look where the outside is white and it's just colored inside here. Now, so I've got lots of these, lots of them. Now let me show you the 3D items that I have that came out of my living room today. This is one that is a sampler that I made a while back. This was when we had the Magnolia designer paper to go with it. And I think this is, it's 8.5 by 8.5 square on the inside. And I believe the frames came from IKEA on an IKEA run one time. So love that. So look at the gift types of things that you can make with your stamps and dies. And then this is my all-time favorite, has a special place in my house. See if you can see it up close without the glare of my light. And oops, let's go this way. This is made with just the embossing folder. And I believe that I used very light colored, I think petal pink, some yellow, and Pool Party on the paper. And I did it long enough time ago. I'm not sure if I used watercolor paper on that, but I think that's probably one of the most favorite things I've ever done. So I love this. So grab yourself some frames, get some ink and stamp set, and you're good to go. Now I have, and then I'm almost done here. I have an opportunity for you if you would like, and I will also post this information on my blog at patstamper.typepad.com. I have some celebration items left over that I would give away with a $50 order, just like they were during celebration. And I have 3 of the Heal Your Heart stamp sets. I have 2 of the Approaching Perfection stamp sets. And these are all cling stamp sets. I've got some paper, and this is Flowers and Field. Love that paper. And this one is, or these two, I have 2 of these. These are the paper blooms. I have 2 of those. I have 2 of the Oh So Ombre paper, 6x6 paper. This was so popular, it sold out a few times, and then they had to get more. Love this. And I have, those are all with a $50 order. And then I have 2 of the Berry Blessings, and these are with $100, and they have designer paper, 12 by 12 paper, and a photopolymer stamp set to go with them. So I'll have all this information also on my blog. And if you would contact me, I would know which one you want, or which ones you might want, and put that order in for you. So I think that's a pretty good deal because they're still available. Although it's my own celebration. So anyway, I want to thank you for stopping by today. I appreciate it so much. And stay healthy, stay safe, and stay warm, especially if you're in Ohio, because it's going to snow on Wednesday. So take care. I will see you all next week for some more Monday Magic. Bye-bye.